Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Furbabies Summit for this afternoon. Right now, we have a wonderful presentation coming up for you and a wonderful interview. It's with Joanne Silverman, who is the executive director of Fetch a Cure. Now, Fetch a Cure is out of Richmond in Virginia, and they are just an incredible organization. They're a nonprofit. Their mission out there is to raise awareness, to give education, and to help give pet owners and fur baby parents more access to information about pet cancers, which is something we've been talking about earlier today, to help with senior care and with treatment options. There's a number of components to Fetch. So we will get into talking about those today and just kind of how much work they do with the community and how much they're able to help those of us who are going through cancer with our dogs. So, Joanne, it is really, really nice to have you on. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining us today. So our talk is Senior Pets and Fetch. So tell us a little bit about Fetch and Fetch a Cure and what you guys do out there.
Okay, well, we're basically a pet cancer organization. And it all started when one of the founders' dog was diagnosed with osteosarcoma like 17 years ago. And, there were just such limited treatment options out there and limited oncologists and it was expensive for the average person, and still is. So Fetch was created to take that financial burden at least off the owners. So we help financially for people who need cancer treatments for their dogs. Right now, financially, we serve Virginia, Maryland, and DC. But we do a lot of other things. We do a lot of education courses about cancer, and senior aging and pets. We're very geriatric focused. We do continuing education courses for veterinarians. One is a geriatric focus and one is cancer focused. And we have support groups for pet loss and for pet cancer too, which is really awesome that people can share what worked for their dog or cat and what didn't work. And, we get people, outside the United States that participate, and it's really great. So highly focused on education and treatment and communicating what's out there.
So there is so much there. So you guys started with the osteosarcoma. And I know in the program, you guys have the Companions in Crisis program, the fund. How does that work for families and their pets? And let me actually minimize that so I can see your screen. Look at all those fur babies.
Okay. It's really a pretty simple process, we think. We have an application that the owner fills out, and then we have, the medical records that the treating veterinarian fills out. And we don't dictate treatment at all. There are all different ways and different options, and you have to do what you think's right for your pet. So they submit that, and the application goes to our Companions in Crisis medical board, and they review the files and decide if it's a good case to treat or not treat. And if they say yes, then depending on their financial well-being or not so well-being, we fund between 20 and 40%. And the reason we don't fund 100% is we'd rather spread out what we can do. And we also feel like with cancer, you never know what else is going to come up. So we like to help people that we know can help themselves down the road. And if they can also reapply. So there are a lot of families we've helped 2 and 3 times.
Do you have an idea possibly of how many families you guys have been able to help?
We have helped hundreds in the years. We've helped hundreds. Now they are, fairly large gifts, because we all know what cancer treatment costs. I mean, these days it's easily between $10,000 and $20,000. So our gifts are larger than most. I don't really know any other cancer organization that large a gift that we do. We do ask for volunteer hours in exchange. Some people are really great about doing that, and some aren't. We don't push it if they feel they can't do it, but we have all different things they can do to help. And,
I was going to ask you, you've got such a great volunteer, or having that component is a great part of the whole organization. So you guys, you can help to fund this to help families, but then it gives them an opportunity to volunteer to help out. What are some of the things that they've been able to do, or
they do all kinds of things. We're event heavy. We do a lot of events, so we always need setup and auction items. And like tomorrow we have Hike with Your Hounds, so we'll have folks out at Pocahontas State Park. We also, some of the things they'll do is we like to make sure materials are in a lot of veterinary offices. So we have a lot of educational materials. So just dropping things off at a vet's office, or coming in the office and stuffing envelopes. We do, like I said, 2 continuing education courses for veterinarians. So there's a lot that goes into that. So, for people who are comfortable being front and center, there's those events and things like that. And those who like to work behind the scenes, we welcome that as well. So sometimes it's just kind of mundane office things, but we like them to bring their dog with them if they can, and hang out in the office and stuff envelopes and whatever there is. And they can be creative. Some people host little events or something. If they bake, then they pies, it's whatever they want to do.
That is awesome.
Yeah, very homegrown.
That's I was gonna ask, like, you guys did this from, it was an organic sort of effort. It's you've got a great network out there.
We do.
And you've got a wonderful resource library too. For everybody who's listening, take a look at their site. They have so much information on various types of cancer, and there's a slew of them, various types of cancers, and what it is, what happens, that kind of thing. It's just I've seen a lot of resources gathered together before, but I love this one. This one was just amazing. We have a question. What is a big goal that VetchaCure has for the rest of 2022?
We have just kind of, first of all, getting out in the public again. Just through the pandemic, we haven't been able to do that as much as we like to. So we hope to be able to have the events that we normally have, and so far so good. But we also hope to expand. So hopefully, and we're pretty conservative about that. We kind of expand a little at a time. We just added Maryland in the last couple of years. So we kind of do it state by state, because we want to make sure we can help everyone that's approved through the process, and give them and keep to that 20% of the gift.
Are there any particular types of, what is your biggest need for VetchaCure?
That's a great question. We have I think your biggest need, one is financial, just to keep that going. And the second would be just volunteer help. Both from veterinarians. We have a medical board we work very closely with. And also just the general public, and spreading the word and keeping us front and center, and recommend us and refer people to us if they need. We love the stories. We try, if we can, we have a few professional photographers we work with, so we like their materials all to have, dogs and cats that we actually help. We just have one location. We're in Richmond, Virginia, and we just kind of work from this office. Non-pandemic days, we definitely go other places. We do a run in Northern Virginia. We'll visit vet offices wherever we can, and universities, especially the veterinary universities. So we like to get out in the community and kind of spread the word, and it's been great.
Now, I had noticed in your resources list, you also have the pet cancer, the support groups, and then also the pet loss group. And that's a very, very helpful, blessed thing. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, we just started those really in the last couple of years. It's been great. It started with the pet loss support group, and we did that in person, and we have a pretty big conference room, and it would be full. It was really amazing to sit in on one of those groups. We've all been through it. It's all so hard, and people are just so honest and real, and you can see it helps them to talk about it. So we realized the need was greater than just where we're located. So we started doing it virtually and with the pandemic, and it's been amazing. So it's been people all across the United States, quite a few in Canada. And it's really great and very healing, to the point we recently added a second. We did it once a month, and now we're the pet loss group. And with pet cancer, it's a great group because they share information, and people that have tried all of these things that worked or didn't work, it helps other people. So there's always a lot of back and forth and question and answers and tips, and what can you get your dog to eat, because I can get mine eating, and just great information. And everyone, again, is just so willing to share, and it's it just is amazing to listen to. Just really admire people that are willing to share and so honest about everything.
It really creates a bond with them.
It does.
And they're not alone, that's for sure.
They're not alone. And because we have, kind of sad things to talk about, and certainly upsetting things, and no one wants to talk about cancer, but so much. We like to have big events, and we have big events. We have big parties. Our biggest one and most popular is Pets on Parade, which we've had for 14 years, and it's in Richmond. And this past year, we were lucky to get it in right in November when things started to open up a bit. We had 450 people. You can bring your dog. It's kind of cocktail and big auction, and we have local restaurants, 15 of them bring in and do stations of food, and just really fun event celebrating your dogs, mainly dogs. Cats don't attend. Celebrating your dogs. We have a place for, we have like a babysitting area, or you can just have them at your table. And it always works great. And people really come through and support the cause. And it's a lot of fun. So we like to offset, the cancer side of things and events. We're lucky 2 of their founders are event people. And so found that works well.
It sounds like that's one of your favorites to put on. That's a big event. It's really a
big event, and it's a lot of work, and it's always worth it, and it's fun.
I think we had talked before about the possibility or the options to expand, to grow across the U.S.
Yeah.
Was that something that you guys were hoping to go or wanting to go national with at some point?
With the event,
to expand, or to be able to expand the organization, to be able to expand it?
I think we would. I think we're getting to the point we would like to. Yeah. So we'll see how things go. Yeah, that's a huge undertaking, and there's so much. We don't like saying no, or to cut down the amount of your gifts. So we want to make sure that we can support it in whatever communities.
Can I ask you, on the cancer side, do you find that there is a greater prevalence of certain cancers over others that are coming in that y'all are able to help with? What that's look like?
We always see a lot of osteosarcoma. We see a lot of mast cell. Mast cell seems to be very treatable. And then lymphoma it's everywhere. But we're in the same building with the veterinary oncology group that we love having, and they're very successful, very aggressive in their practice. That said, we do fund whatever veterinarian you choose to use. We don't dictate that, but of course do a lot with them. And they don't hesitate to send people upstairs to talk to us.
I think my volume might have cut out. I'm sorry. Joanne, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. Do you notice if there's a difference in the age ranges, or is it sort of still all across the board?
It's across the board, but I tell you, lately we've had so many 2, 3, and 4-year-old dogs. We see more dogs. Dogs get cancer way more than cats. I don't want anyone to think I'm leaving them out. I love it. But it's crazy how young we're seeing so many dogs. Really frightening. We've always seen a lot of cancer. I think it's after the age of 8% of dogs will get cancer. But seeing these 2, and 3, and 4-year-old dogs regularly, and kind of, it's disturbing. But
it's different than it used to be.
It seems very different than it used to be. Now, who knows why, but I assume there's a lot of toxins out there, and maybe it's breeding, but it's not just in purebreds, it's in mixed breeds too, which is.
So that was one thing we would ask, if you feel like, or if you've noticed if there is any common denominators across those with that young of an age range, because that's young.
It's young. It's really young. I think, it's hard. I talk to the veterinary oncologist here about it all the time, and just and scary.
Yeah.
But at least they're young and healthy, and gives them a good start battling the disease. And maybe it was caught really early, so that's definitely a plus.
Okay. Well, the other thing I wanted to ask you before we wrapped up for today, you guys have the Pixie Pals program, right?
Yeah, it's a great program. We kind of inherited this program. It's put on by the Virginia Department of Corrections, and another group, actually her name was Pixie, started it, and it's shelter dogs in Virginia prisons, and they're trained to have basic skills, different manners, to be good pets. And unfortunately, Pixie passed of cancer, and her family heard about us and asked us if we would consider the program. And it didn't really mesh with their mission, but I said, okay, well, I'll go. I've never been in the prison. I'll go see how and it was still running. And it was just amazing. It's just amazing. These inmates just come alive, and these dogs are just given a second chance that they would normally have. And so we've had it about 10 years, and it's really great, and it really does mesh with their cancer side of things. Unfortunately, we've had many pen pal dogs have cancer, so we treated them, and it's just a win-win kind of program. And having that hands-on with the dogs in their everyday life and seeing them, it's just been great. They live in the prisons with these inmates. We have one women's prison, the rest are male prisons, and we have 2 inmates per dog, and they all live in the same cell, and they take care of them 24/7. And we hired a trainer that goes in once a week and has training sessions, and she'll tell you they're mostly more about the sessions with the humans than the dogs. But the dogs come out with basic great manners and know how to do the sit, stay, that sort of thing, and it's wonderful. So we love having that program, and it's been on hiatus, and thankfully one of the prisons is getting ready to start up.
I think that's a wonderful program.
It really
I wish
is.
we had more of those.
They're just so great. The dog I have now came from that program, and he's amazing. It was interesting when I wanted to take him out to make sure he would get along with my other dog, who wasn't so easy to get along with, for the weekend. The inmate, of course, didn't know who was taking the dog out for the weekend or any connection or anything like that. They called my office. He had his mother call their office to check up on who was taking the dog for the weekend and if they were going to treat him right. And I mean, they really care about these dogs. Definitely checked up on them.
I think that's fantastic.
It is.
I do.
And this is so great. Y'all do this summit. It's wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again for being on with us. I just wanted to have you in to share what the programs do, what the mission is. I think it's just a wonderful organization. And I think there's so many resources that other pet parents can find with you guys that are in that area. And hopefully we're able to expand it out.
I hope so.
But it's, again, for everyone who's listening and for ones who will go back and see the replays of this, go to check out the website. There is so much information there about prevention and treatment options and things like that. Joanne, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you and to fetch and to volunteer or donate? The website or?
The website, my email's on the website. So Joanne@fetchacure.org or
info@fetchacure.org. Okay. Or your email, which I know is on there. That's how I found you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, besides that, I think that I think this has been wonderful.
Thank you for thinking of Fetch. We appreciate it and love getting the word out there. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you again for coming on with us today.
Absolutely.
We'll be in touch on Monday when the stuff goes back out. So
that sounds great.
thank
you.